Rebecca Lindquist with English by the Hour, and I'd like to encourage you to come up with a vocal warm-up. Now, you might think of singers as having vocal warm-ups, but speakers should too. And if you have an accent, you should have a warm-up that you can do every day, maybe while you're driving to work. So your warm-up can be as simple as a little bit of body movement. You know, I have a lot of Chinese speakers who tell me all the sounds are really in the head, and when they finally get the American accent, they realize it's really from here down. That is, the chest resonates, so a little bit of shaking is a good part of a vocal warm-up. Now, your warm-up is specifically yours. So I always recommend with my clients that you sample different exercises and then pick the ones that you feel you get the best benefit from. You want a little bit of mouth movement in your warm-up and a little bit of body movement, and then you want sound. Some combination of those things, and I usually recommend doing the same thing multiple times so that you memorize it. Then you can do it anywhere without looking at your notes. You could be driving. So the first thing is perhaps the fish movement. If you've seen my fish video, you're familiar with this one. The orbicularis oris is a fancy name for the lip muscle. It has 3 muscles on the top, 3 on the bottom. Let's play with that muscle and pretend you're a fish. Can you control it? Now, if you're having trouble, if you look in the mirror, which you should be, if your mouth is going out like this, a lot of people from India have this movement, then take a mirror and watch the movement pulling in, and if it's still challenging, pull in your buccinator muscle like this. Looks silly, just like a fish. Then release it and see if the orbicularis oris muscles work better now. Now let's smile for opposing muscle groups and fish. Be a goldfish, be a guppy. Lots of control. Slower is better than faster. Now go side to side. Many of you have seen this in my other videos like this. See, you could do this while you're driving. Notice which side is tighter and pull to the tight side. So if this is my tight side, and do a few of these. Keep the body aligned, the neck is in a good position. You can take your hand and actually, if you have a wall behind you, go up to the wall and pull your shoulders up like I'm doing here. Make sure that your head is directly on top of your body. So your neck may actually go back a bit and the chin may come down a bit, which can look kind of funny, but the back of the neck stretches nicely, and then you release, and when you walk away from the wall, you have a nice posture. Your sternum is up for speech, so your shoulders should be down. However, if you pull them way up and drop them, you might get a little bit more movement in the shoulder blades, and as you move, you may notice the spine moves as well. The knees should not be locked. So notice if your knees, if you have any movement in them, see if you can get a little bit of looseness. In the Alexander method, they talk about feeling like a monkey. And I often invite my clients to feel a little bit of monkey and then less monkey, less monkey, less monkey, less monkey. And now I'm talking, but I'm still thinking monkey because the monkey has no tension or stress. And you can hear in my vocal folds that I don't have a lot of tension or stress right now. So all of this can be done in a short warm-up before you give a talk or speech. Yawning is extremely important in this to open up the back of the throat. Lots of movement. Maybe start making sounds at this point, like E, A, Ah. Don't worry if it doesn't sound perfect initially. It's not about how great you sound. If you're not trying to be a singer, that's not the point. But in terms of having a good accent, we want to make sure that your thick folds, your vocal folds, are touching consistently at the same pitch, whatever pitch you choose. So instead of saying E, which is my thin folds engaging like this, that's useful because I can sing at a higher pitch. However, for speaking, I don't want my voice to cut in and out like this. Notice that sounds like I can't control my pitch. So to get a little bit more vocal fold engagement in your warm-up, make sounds like this. E, A, Ah. Move your jaw around a bit.
And putting your hand here, drop the jaw. Ah, stretch the jaw. And again, ah, stretch the jaw. Ah. Now let's make some other sounds, some voiced fricative sounds like zzz. Many Chinese speakers and others, I'm not picking on speakers of Chinese, tend to have a zzz sound that isn't really rich and zesty. It's more in the head like zzz, 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 and you want it in the chest. Zzz, zzz, zzz. How about a V sound? Does your V sound like a W? So think of the teeth, upper teeth, lower lip, without biting like the British, just resonating. Nice vibration. Keep moving. Sternum up, neck in a good position. Is your neck going nice and forward and up? You shouldn't hear tension or effort. You shouldn't feel that you have to push. These are signs not to have that in your warm-up. Now, if you're making the sound, go longer, more voice time, and louder. Shake. Two more voiced fricatives you might enjoy working with. One is the zh sound, as in usual. Breathe, and when you breathe, notice if your breath is shallow or deep. Shallow breathing is in this clavicular area like this. Very hard to get a long sound when you're shallow breathing. So inhale through the nose initially, and notice that you have 3 locations to breathe in on each side of your nose. So we're going to breathe in fully. And as we breathe in, we fill not only the chest, but also around the diaphragm. We could be filling in the back. You can put your hands back here and breathe into your hands. You could fill into the side like a big lizard. You could fill into the front a bit. But see if you can invite yourself to fill your whole body with air. Think of 360 breathing. So breathe with your entire body, not just your chest. And you might shoot energy out your fingers as you breathe. Arms come up, chest is open. Think of not squeezing too tightly here. So let's open nice and wide and long. Fingers going forward with energy shooting out the fingers. The spine has energy shooting up as we make the sound. Inhale. Now resist the temptation to sink like this. We don't want to sink in the chest, and standing may be more helpful than sitting. End when you're strong. Try not to do this. That invites you to lose breath, not hold it for optimal speech. Do it 3 times before you stop. So if you make a mistake and you do it soft or your chest sinks, make sure you do it 3 more times the correct way. And then you may also want to try the TH. Tongue movement should be super flat. Most people have a little bit of a dip in their tongue, or their tongue may bunch, that is grow this direction as opposed to growing this direction. So the muscle you want to work on is called your versalis muscle. You take your tongue and you grow it this way. Might be challenging at first, don't worry, keep working on it, don't lose the faith. So the tongue is flat. Let's practice now breathing through our mouth instead of our nose. The nose is great because it moistens the air, warms the air, and filters the air. Great to breathe through your nose. But what if you have allergies? What if you're congested? What if there's some reason you can't breathe through your nose, or you need to speak quickly? Maybe you're in a debate situation and you don't want somebody else to cut you off before your great idea gets out there. Breathe through your mouth, which has the downside of drying it out perhaps, but let's do it now and then. Just try it, yawning into the back. So let's try all 4 of those sounds again. We're coming to the end of your warm-up. You really only need to warm up for about 5 minutes. You might do a little more singing with vowels like E, A, Ah. Maybe read something out loud, or better yet, do an elevator pitch, or part of a talking point, some talking points that you have for a speech, or even a PowerPoint. But have something specific that you want to say and practice saying it. Maybe you just have a positive affirmation about your life, like, my goal is to make more money, or whatever it might be. But the idea is that you're warming up every day with a vocal warm-up that is conducive to improvement, that is supportive of you, that addresses the issues you want to work on, and then periodically change it up a bit. In fact, come back and watch more of my videos to get more ideas for how to do even better vocal warm-ups. And maybe also on YouTube, go out and sample some of the videos that singers have. There's a whole lot of good ideas you can get from professional singers and from others out there who are very concerned with improving their speech and especially their singing voice. There's a lot that can be learned in the accent world from using best practices in singing. I encourage you to do your warm-up at least once a day, perhaps every 4 or 5 hours. Keep breathing, have some elements of breath, some elements of resonance and sound, mouth movement, and movement of the entire body for fluidity. Thanks for listening, and keep practicing.
What?